All right, guys, we're going to do a little practice with the graphing calculator, so make sure you have that handy. I'm actually not going to have you do a lot on your own for this. It's going to be pretty quick. But if you have the older operating system, I'm going to post another video that someone else made that might help you a little bit because I don't have the older version on my desktop. So the nice part about the rest of the year is you can actually use your graphing calculator to take the integral. So you don't have to do a lot of work in that regard anymore. The harder part is going to be to set up the integral. But we're going to actually use our 5.4 notes. So if you have those handy, great. Otherwise, you can actually just look on my screen and see the questions I'm going to go through. So first things first, I'm going to show you how to find the derivative in the graphing calculator. You can only do this with a definite integral and a derivative. So that means I can put in the derivative of something if I'm trying to find a slope. So the example I'm going to go through first is to find the equation of the tangent line. All this is going to do is find the slope for you. It's not as nice as doing it by hand for this kind of question, only because you end up with something in terms of decimals, and it's just not as exact. But either way, I'm just showing you the steps. Okay, so what I'm going to have you do is actually go to the button that's going to be helpful for this whole section. I'm going to clear out my tab just so you can see what I do every time. So if you lose me, if I go too fast, this is where my keystrokes are going to be, so you can follow along a little bit later. This is going to be a very fast video though. So all the buttons in your graphing calculator for calculus are going to be under math. Okay, some of you have already figured this out, so no need to watch the rest of the video if you already know how to find the derivative and the integral in your calculator because you've played with it or you've heard from friends. No need to watch this, which is great. I don't usually let you do that. So you're going to jump to number 8, which means the derivative. Okay, you might see something like this. If you don't see my screen, you might just see n derivative, and you'll still follow the next steps after I start. So those of us with this screen, you're going to type an x in for the d dx because they're asking you to find the derivative. If you have the older operating system, you're going to start by typing in the function, which the rest of us are going to type in this little box here, which was x times, you don't really even need a time symbol, and then it was e to the x, a second ln x. I have to tab over. If you have the older operating system, you don't need to. Minus e to the x. I'm literally just typing in the function that was on the page here, just so you know. So again, second e to the x. Okay. And then if you have the older operating system, you're going to put a comma, which is right below the sign button, x. Okay, you're going to literally type the letter x, comma, and then you'll do this last step. If you see my screen, you're jumping to where that last remaining empty box is. You're going to type in 1 because the x value in this screen is 1, which means I'm finding the slope at that point. If you have the older operating system, you should have the function comma x comma 1, close parentheses, the rest of us going to enter, and it gives you your slope. Now that is the same thing, if you didn't know, as e, which if you found the integral by hand, or the derivative by hand, sorry, and then plugged in 1 for x, you would also get e, okay? So that is how you find the derivative at a point in the calculator. That would be your slope for tangent line, and then you just, hopefully most of us know at this point, you would do y minus 0 equals the slope times x minus 1. All right, we're going to jump to an integral. So again, you have to only do definite integrals, which means if you try to do the integral of a function without the definite part, that would not help. It wouldn't be helpful because you would end up with an undefined answer, okay? So we're going to do this problem in here. It looks kind of crazy, right? So now, shortcut, you can use your graphing calculator. Again, I'm going to just make this a little bit smaller so you can see this screen at the same time. Okay, if you have the older operating system, I'll just tell you in words what to do, but again, the video will tell you how to do it. If you need an extra little guide, I'll post another video too. Okay, so same button. I'm actually gonna clear this. Clear. Okay, so you're gonna go to math again. It's all the way down to number 9, so you can hit the number 9. You can scroll up, and then it'll jump to 9. I usually just hit the number because it's easier. So you can actually see the integral symbol. Again, if you have the older operating system, you're just going to see the word integral, and then follow the steps from there. So if you have the older operating system, you need to type in the function first, comma, whatever you're taking the integral for, so like x in this case, and I'll run through what this looks like in a second, and then comma, low bound, comma, high bound. It's opposite with this newer operating system, so those of us who see my screen, you're just going to type in what you see here. So we're going from -1. You can jump up. Oops. Or over, I guess, to 0. So we're going from -1 to 0. In this parenthesis here, you're going to type in the function, which is our second e to the x. I have to go over cosine e to the x. Okay. You can close parentheses because it'll close out the cosine function. And then it's in regard to x, so you type in x there. Again, if you have the older operating system, you would be typing in the function first, then comma x, comma -1 to 0. Okay, so you have to do the function, comma, the variable that you're taking the integral with regard to, so x, comma, low bound, comma, high bound. Okay, so again, that's if you have the older operating system. Those of us who have this, you can hit enter, and it gives you the same answer. So nice. So that is a shortcut for you. You can do this now if I ever ask you to find the integral. You don't have to do it by hand anymore, which is super great. This next chapter is a little bit tougher, but now you at least have this little shortcut to help you get through. Let me know what questions you have a little bit later.